Hello, welcome to a brand new vlog. I know I'm in kind of a weird spot, but I just thought this, oh, hold on. That's never happened before. Give me one sec. Okay, hold on. Hello, Clef Go Ever After Hotline. No, sorry, this isn't the Babysitter's Club. Oh, you want me to cover the Babysitter's Club? That's like a lot of books. Like a lot of books. Well, I mean, Claudia is my favorite. Okay, that could work. That is a good idea. But do you know how expensive they are now? Oh, yeah, no. I mean, my library does probably have them. Yeah, I could do that. That's a very good idea. Well, thank you for calling the hotline. I genuinely didn't know this number even worked. Yeah. Well, thanks. I guess I should tell the vlog, right? Yeah, I should let them know. All right. Well, bye. Okay. So the plan for this vlog is now talking about the Babysitter's Club books. So I'll be reading Claudia Kishi books that I did get from my library, plus a super special, hopefully. I requested it. We just gotta hope it comes in. It's a winter Christmas special, so I thought it would be perfect because it's getting super cold here. But Claudia is my favorite, and if you didn't see it, I did a very nostalgic reading some of the Samantha Parkington books from American Girl, and I actually loved the Babysitter's Club far before I was into American Girl. Like, literally starting at age 4, I was obsessed with the Babysitter's Club. So I will be reading whichever books I can get from my library for Claudia and showing off like the doll I have. Yes, I have a doll, you'll see. And just talking about general, of course there's a loud car. Anyway, and just talking about general Babysitter's Club stuff, because I did find out that I can watch the original show, which I was obsessed with and had on VHS. But I'm not going to get into all of that now. Just know this vlog is going to be primarily focused on reading Claudia Kishi Babysitter's Club books from my library, because that's how I have them. And yeah, that'll be the big focus. But I need to take you back to earlier when Krista and I went to go see Red One and try 3 very interesting burgers from Burger King. So please enjoy those fun clips, and then we'll get into the Babysitter's Club content. So I will talk to you later.
Can't live without the Babysitter's Club. And the Babysitter's Club can't live without me.
Hello. So I normally would start a vlog like this by talking about books. Like I would talk about a book I had read from the Babysitter's Club so far, or something along those lines. But that's not where we're starting this. I actually, as background, throughout the day have been playing episodes of the original Babysitter's Club series. So I don't know what channel it aired on at all. I remember owning it on VHS tapes when I was a kid, and I got them at, so as a brief, this is the journey of Catherine in the Babysitter's Club. When I was a kid, like we're talking 4, 5, 6, very little kid, like, and I know it's that window of time because my brother and sister were born in 1996, and I was 5.5 when they were born. So this makes a lot of sense. I will get into this. So when I was growing up, my parents would consistently go to Columbus. So we lived in a different town. We would go to Columbus, which was like 2 hours away, every weekend. Now, in part that was because my dad was on a softball league in Columbus, because they used to live in like the Reynoldsburg, Columbus area, but we had moved. So when I was like 3, 4, even before that, we would go every weekend, and then after he was done, we would typically go to half-price bookstores. We would also go to dinner with my grandpa normally, but that's not where I'm going with this. But we consistently went to half-price bookstores while I was growing up. Even after he stopped doing that softball league, we would still, like, at least every couple of weekends go to half-price books. And if you don't know what half-price books is, it's not everywhere, which is so upsetting to me because we had a lot of them in Ohio and, like, the Indiana area. That was really hard to say. And sometimes we would go to one in, I think, Fort Wayne. But they used to have all the Babysitter's Club books, like, in the clearance section. And the clearance section for kids was, like, the best place to go because the books were, like, a quarter to $1, depending. But I remember when I was growing up, the Babysitter's Club books, because they're from 1986 and onward, they were already almost, like, 10 years old at that point. So they were a quarter. Like, a lot of people were selling them or dropping them off. I don't know if you're even getting any money for them at that point, but I could get almost as many as I wanted because they were a freaking quarter. Like, that's as much as a gumball. So I would get so many of them, and I was kind of a goofy kid. in that I read a lot. I read all the time. I read things that were not in my age range. I was reading all over the place. Before I could really read all of them, my dad would read them to me as like a bedtime story because I wanted to read them. And then as I got older, I was like obsessed with the Babysitter's Club. And we're talking like 6. I was obsessed because I got, and she's over here and I'm not gonna grab her yet, but I not only had the books, I had board games because Half Price Books got the board games that people were selling off. And the board games were probably, I'm gonna say $2 to $5. Not quite sure, but I had like a mystery one, I had a different Babysitter's Club one, I know I had 2 board games, and I could get the VHS tapes. So I'd watch the VHS tapes, I would read the books. I had the babysitter's like notebook, so you could like keep track of all of the kids you were babysitting, which I, at the ripe old age of 5, was not really doing. But I had a Claudia doll, and the doll I will show you is not officially my Claudia doll. I had a Claudia doll. I took pristine care of her, but I think she got damaged at a certain point when our basement flooded when I was a lot older, and she either had to be thrown away, sadly, or she maybe got donated. I'm not sure what happened to her. My sister is actually going to see if she got squirreled away in like a storage tub, and I just didn't know she was still in the house. So at some point she said she would look around and see if you could find her because we were talking about it. But I had this Claudia doll. I took her like everywhere. She and I played board games together until the age of 5.5. I was an only child. And that meant that I often played by myself using my stuffed animals and dolls as my friends. So like I would play Sorry with them. I love Sorry. I still love Sorry, but I would play the game Sorry with them and I would just move their pieces. And yes, sometimes they beat me and I would let them beat me, even though they were inanimate objects that I was pretending were alive. But I was so obsessed that when my brother and sister were born, I was like, I want to babysit the babies, which my parents were not going to let me do. I would like it noted that by asking to babysit, it typically meant that my brother and sister were taking a nap or in a confined area like a baby swing, and I was allowed to watch them without really needing to do anything. I also did offer to do diaper changes and feedings, though that was only really for one of them because I did not have the proper equipment to do that. I'm not going to get into that, but I think you can understand. I was a child and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, but I would babysit them. And then I did actually babysit them as I got older. I was still very into the Babysitter's Club for a very long time. I still would like periodically watch the show. I read the books off and on for a while, and sometimes I would just like pull them out and read them and then put them back. I really like the mystery ones. Those are probably my favorite. And then I sometimes read the super specials because they were bigger, but those were like multi-point of view. And I sometimes wanted that and I sometimes didn't. But I read the books. I kept the books for a really long time. I do believe all those books were donated or like given away. I'm very sure they got given away because they were just like trade paperbacks. Admittedly, people are selling them on eBay for a wild amount of money. So I feel like I should have kept them, but hindsight is 2020 and probably $150. But I would read them all the time, all of that. So where was I going with this? That was it, right? That's all you need to know. Oh my goodness. I'm a little tired. And I feel like I'm a little all over the place. Also, if you can tell, I did dishes and managed to get something on my shirt doing dishes, which of course I did. But I'm watching the show because in my child brain, that's what I was getting at. I thought the show had like a million seasons. Like I just assumed it did because I had like 5 VHS tapes. And somehow I thought there were more episodes that I didn't own. And as it turns out, that is incorrect. There's only ever 1 season of the 1990 show, and it's 13 episodes, and that's it. I don't know why I thought I had more. Also, this is probably controversial. I liked the original series more than I liked the movie they made in the 90s, which had nothing to do with the original series, like the show. It has, like, I think an actual good cast, like a lot of people are in it. But I remember not liking it as much because, if I remember correctly, they just take Christy's plotline and expand it into a movie. Like, they do a lot of stuff with her parents remarrying and starting the Babysitter's Club. And I remember I wasn't that into it because I was like, but it's more than Christy. Like, Christy is... I'm sorry, my asthma is asthmaing. Whew. Christy is important, but she's not like the main character. It's an ensemble cast of babysitters. And I remember being kind of disappointed in the movie in that regard. I am going to watch it in this vlog because it's been a long time and I think I saw it pop up on something, but I'm finishing the show first because according to Peacock, I only have 4 more days, which by tomorrow means I will only have 3 more days to finish it. But because I've had it on in the background for a while, I'm on episode 6, which is a Claudia-centric episode, and I just realized the other reason I probably probably love Claudia the most is they actually give her a lot of screen time. She has 3 designated episodes and 1 episode that is not technically about her. She's the secondary plot line and pretty big. The clip you saw is not from a Claudia episode. It's from a Dawn episode where Claudia is very important. So I was just like, this is incredible. Also, I loved the actress who played Claudia. And at the time, as a child, between the ages of, I'm gonna say 4 and 10, I would not have known that I thought she was cute. But I'm just saying, now I can see that I thought she was cute. And my sister is very sure that it was my first childhood crush was Claudia, but I would not have known that at the time, as I did not realize that being into women was a thing you could be. But anyway, woo, so many things. But watching the show is so fun. I do remember, this is what threw me off, because I have seen the Netflix one too, the new one. I'm not going to rewatch that one right now, but I did watch both seasons and I thought it was very cute. The casting is interesting. So in 1990, they did what they typically do with a lot of shows where everyone is supposed to be younger. Those girls are supposed to be in middle school, but they're obviously played by older girls. Like, these girls are probably early high school, if not late high school, depending. So they look older. They act older, unintentionally. They just are older. In the Netflix one, they actually keep them true to story. So they're actually in like middle school, which totally makes sense. You're trying to show the true casting, but it's just so interesting to me because in these, I'm like, oh, they're so much older. Like, they have money and they can do all this stuff. And that's just because of casting. When I was a kid, I imagined them as so much older than me, which even a middle schooler would have been older than me at that point. But they were like the epitome of like older, cool kid. But I had like a babysitting bag. I really, really was dedicated to the art of babysitting at the age of 6, where I could not babysit. So I did keep that notebook around for a while, and I remember writing a bunch of things and then finding that notebook when I did actually babysit my brother and sister and being like, some of these were useful. But yeah, so obsessed. I was absolutely obsessed with the Babysitters Club. I was texting my sister about it, and she reminded me that we used to have a CD that had a number of songs on it by the people who sang the theme song for the show, and one of them is called Telephone, or like Talk Telephone, and now it's stuck in my head. We used to sing it and pretend we were in a band. It was a whole thing. I had a badminton racket, like, as a guitar, because that's how guitars work, right? You just use a badminton racket. But yes, so I'm having the best time just watching the show. This is such a long clip. I am so sorry, but I feel like I haven't given you anything, and I've been watching a show and not reading a book. But the reason we're not getting into books yet is so one of my books came in Friday for this. And I just got a notification that all the rest of them are available for pickup. So I'm going to start reading tomorrow. And I'm going to do like a big book haul to show you the ones that I'm borrowing from my library. Again, I bought no books for this. I just borrowed them from my library. They are probably going to be newer prints, so the covers will be different than what I remember. Though the pictures of the covers on the library website are the covers I remembered, which I thought was very funny. But yes, so you'll get a book haul tomorrow. And actual thoughts in a book, because I'm going to read before work. So yes, but I just wanted to let you know that there are books. I just have not gotten to them yet. I've literally just been playing the show in the background. I will also continue to play the show in the background tomorrow. So I'll probably give you final thoughts on the series, though it's really just going to be like, this is nostalgic and I love it so much and everyone is wonderful and it's beautiful. But yes, so I'm going to go because this is a huge clip. I'm also really hoping that I figured out the editing for the opening of this. Someone please, if you have not already, comment on how the editing was for you. I'm so curious if my phone thing even was... Actually, I know it's going to be cringe and I don't care. But I do want to know what you thought of it. Even if it is just to be like, Catherine, that was really cringy. Why did you do that? But yes, so I'm gonna go because I was filming this really fast after work because we actually have to get to the library. So I gotta go. But I will update you on more things Babysitters Club and Claudia specifically later. Good morning. So I have my coffee. And this is not a Babysitters Club mug. This is a Tiana mug. It's very cute. I actually have Tiana coffee in here. So I talked about this in my other video, but if you didn't see that one, Krista got me this Tiana cup for an early birthday gift. And she had previously bought me the Tiana, I forget the full name, but it's supposed to taste like beignets coffee from Joffrey's. And it's really, really good. But I feel like I have to put it in the Tiana cup because it's Tiana coffee. So I'm having Tiana coffee in a Tiana cup. And it's early. I'm so tired, actually. It is before work, so I'm kind of sleepy still. But I wanted to try and find an outfit that was slightly late 80s, early 90s inspired. And we're going with this. And yes, it is a Halloween shirt. I'm also wearing Halloween leggings. And the reason for that is that tonight I actually have to make food that I don't typically make this late in the year. So I make these pumpkin skulls in October, but I was supposed to make some for Chris's parents and we like never went over there, so I didn't make a batch for them. And we're swinging by tomorrow, so I have to bake them today. So I'm making pumpkin skulls, and I realized I have the supplies to make these things called pizza tombstones still. It's just crescent roll dough, and you fill it like a pizza, and I use a tombstone baking pan. But I was like, well, if I'm doing all of this Halloween stuff, then I should wear a Halloween shirt today. It just felt appropriate. So I'm wearing a Halloween shirt and Halloween leggings, even though none of these books are Halloween themed. I have a different outfit planned for tomorrow and like outfits for the rest of the week that I'm hoping are 80s, 90s-ish. But I did promise you a little book haul because I did pick up all of my books finally, and I have a very exciting announcement about some of them, which is delightful. So first book, and this is in a re-release cover. I had no control over this. This is the one my library had. So the first book I will be reading is Anna Martin, The Babysitter's Club, Claudia and the Phantom Phone Calls. And this one specifically has a re-release cover. It even under here mentions the Netflix show. So this came out, I'm guessing they re-released a core set of the books right when the Netflix show came out or right after. And that's why there's a sticker on here. So, well, it's not even a real, it's one of those like print-on stickers, you know what I mean? So this book looks very goofy to me because it is a reprint. So it just threw me off. But she still has the cord, like the phone, like an actual handheld phone that has the cord. See? So they didn't like update the book. They just updated the cover. So the rest of these books, this was so exciting, and the librarian and I were freaking out about it. Though I have to, she doesn't want me to get dinged because some of the books are a little damaged. So she was like, I put little slips in them so that they know that you didn't hurt the book, that they just came like that. So these are the covers I remember. So this is Claudia and the Mean Janine with the like original, there are people on the cover. I loved these covers so much. And then she like, when the librarian pulled it out, I was like, oh my gosh, those are the covers I remember. And she's like, yeah, these are the good covers. Like, she's basically like, those are the good covers. And then we were talking about how covers have changed because she apparently really liked Sweet Valley High growing up. And she can only ever find the covers that have the cartoon images on the front. And she's like, I don't want those. I want my original like Sweet Valley High with like the actual sisters on the front. And so it was a whole thing. But one sec, I'm taking a sip and then I'll continue. Okay, we then have, oh, I gotta hide this one too. These are from all over the place because they're from different libraries. So this is Babysitter's Club 19, Claudia and the Bad Joke. This is a hardback one, which I believe these were called library editions when I was growing up. So it would look exactly like the paperback, but they would be hardback in an attempt to keep them from getting as damaged. So I also want to point out that these books are various numbers. I did not hunt for specific numbers. I just got what I could get. This one is going to be sad, but this is Claudia and the Sad Goodbye, and I'm very sure this one deals with grief. I also am very sure I've already read this one, but yep, there's this one. Then, sorry, I'm slipping these little sheets in so I don't lose them. Then Claudia and the Great Search, which I remember this one, but I'm not going to get into it, but there's this one. I'm not giving you descriptions until I'm actually reading them. Then this is another library edition where they've covered part of the cover, but this is Claudia and the Middle School Mystery, which yes, all the girls are actually in middle school, but I don't think any of these girls look like middle schoolers. Though, what am I to say? I don't remember what I look like in middle school. Let's get, oh, this also has my checkout sheet in it, so we'll do that. Then Keep Out Claudia. This one is actually in pretty nice condition. It's a little dinged up, but this one looks pretty solid. It's doing okay. And then the last one is not Claudia specific. So this one will have multiple POVs in it. It is super special number 3, Babysitter's Winter Vacation. And I thought it would be fun. Oh my gosh, the postcard is in here. It mentions there's a postcard and it's still in the book, which is astonishing to me because it's a library book and I would have thought they would have taken it out. But that's fun. So I thought it would be fun to just read one super special, and they happen to have the winter one on the list of books that was available pretty early. So I grabbed that one because I thought it's getting colder. It'll be a fun time. And oddly enough, it was suggested as a book by Kelsey. Yes, over at Slime and Slashers for Holiday Hellathon. You can read whatever you want for that. You can read like holiday romance, holiday horror, doesn't even have to be holiday, but it just made me chuckle that that one got mentioned because I was like, oh my gosh, I just requested that from my library, but I'm reading it this month instead of in December. So I'm gonna go because I really need to finish my coffee and I want to start reading Claudia and the Phantom Phone Calls. So I'll give you the description of this one because I am gonna try and start this before I start working, but I'm gonna be in my office, so I'm not gonna do like a cute reading moment for you because I'm literally just gonna be like standing / sitting in my office while I get ready for the day. This one is Christy, Claudia, Marianne, and Stacy try to be prepared for anything when they babysit. So when they hear about the phantom caller, a jewel thief who's been breaking into nearby homes, they come up with a plan to keep their kids safe. But when Claudia and the other girls start receiving creepy phone calls while they're out on jobs, they start to get really spooked. Will the mystery caller scare off the BSC? And then the back has these little cartoony images of like our core 4 characters because the Babysitters Club grows over time, but those are the core 4 at this point. So yeah, I'm gonna start reading that while I get myself in the zone for the day, and then I will fill you in. Hopefully I'll finish it during lunch because I have a little time this morning and I should have time to read during my lunch break. So that's the plan. I will fill you in when I finish this one because they're so short. I feel like I'm just gonna do it at the end, though the super special for sure I'll fill you in as I go, but we shall see. I might change my mind, but that's the goal so far. But I'm gonna go. I will also update you if I watch more of the show because I do need to finish that before they pull it off Peacock. So that's the goal. I gotta finish watching all of that. So yeah, I will talk to you later when I have updates on Claudia and the Phantom Calls. Oh my gosh, so I literally just started this and Mimi, Claudia's grandma, says that it's almost Halloween and it's like spooky and scary outside and she's reading a Nancy Drew book and I was like, this is perfect. I am a wizard. It's been way too long since I read these for me to have remembered that, but I'm just like, this is so perfect. I did it unintentionally. I kind of matched the book. Not, you know what I mean. I matched the tone of the book with my little Snoopy outfit and this is gonna be so awkward, but I don't have a mirror in here, but see, they're like cute little leggings. Yes, but I was really excited, so I had to tell you. I, for sure, am going to finish this. I had forgotten that Claudia loved Nancy Drew. This is why I love Claudia so much. Oh my goodness. Also, I agree that math is terrible. She was talking about math homework, and I was like, I also agree that that was a waste of my time, because I never have to figure out what X is or anything like that in real life. But I was just really excited. I thought I would tell you. So I won't check in again until I'm done. But I was just like, Mimi talking about Nancy Drew with her and saying it's almost Halloween. This is perfect. Anyway, I'm so sorry. I got so excited. But you needed to know. You did. But I need to go. It's still before work, so I have time to read. But I'm just like standing up. I'm making sure all my tech turns on and stuff. I was having some issues with one of my things. I'm not gonna get into it, but it like didn't want to stay on, and so I've had to do like some fun troubleshooting to make sure that's working. So I wanted to do that before work started, so I was doing that, read a little as a reward for getting it to work, and now I'm like, okay, work is going to start pretty soon, so I'll have to stop. But I was like, I need to check in with the vlog since I have time. Anyway, I gotta go, I gotta work. I will talk to you when I have finished the book, which is secretly Halloween themed. Hello, I love a warm cup. I'm cold, and I made more coffee during my lunch break. So I have this very warm cup of coffee. I'm just warming up my hands and then I'm gonna pick up the book. So I did manage to finish the book, Claudia and the Phantom Phone Calls. So I had forgotten so many things because if I remember, I didn't read a lot of the smaller number books. So the earlier release books, I read a lot of books after like where the numbers, this is gonna sound so odd, but I was getting these books for like clearance prices at a used bookstore. So 25 cents a book. And so a lot of them were not the like setup books or not like first books for a character. A lot of them were later in the series. So like in the teens, the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the lots of high numbers actually. So a lot of the ones that I have back here, the ones I showed in the little library hall, I've read those more recently, quote unquote, / those are the ones I actually read. I am not sure if I ever read this one. It's possible I did. It's possible I didn't. So for Babysitters Club books, I never picked these up from my library as a kid. I always read the ones that I had gotten from the Half Price bookstore, and because I was just excited to get any of them, I read them in random orders. I didn't even pay attention to what number in the series they were, and they're all labeled. I just didn't care. I was just reading whichever ones I wanted, whichever ones I could find, whichever one sounded fun. This one in particular, I think I would have loved. And so, again, I don't remember if I read this one. In this one, I already gave you the synopsis. We primarily stick with Claudia because this is her book, but we do get a couple events. I'm going to put this down so I can use my hands. We do get a couple of events where it's Christy, Marianne, Stacy. At this time, there are only 4 babysitters. I know for a fact that that's why I don't think I read as many of these, because I liked getting the books that had all of them in it. Like Dawn, Mallory. Oh gosh, I'm going to forget her name, which is so annoying. Wait, Jessie. Jessie, Mallory, the 2 like junior members. And then I really like those because there were some extra people. And then there were a lot of appearances from like family members in those too. So in this particular one, we just have the 4 core babysitters. And what's going on in this is there is someone called the Phantom Caller who is robbing houses, but he hasn't really done anything in their area. He's nearby in other areas of Connecticut, but has not come to Stony Brook. And then it seems like he might be in Stony Brook. So the babysitters are rightfully getting concerned that they're going to be watching kids at night, and they're getting these weird hang-up calls. And this had happened before they even found out about the Phantom Caller. So they're all kind of worried. They all start trying to make plans for how to like protect themselves, their kids that they're watching, and like what they can do. And so in the like small chapters where we get the events that happened to people who are not Claudia, we actually don't get a solo Christy one. Christy appears in sort of Claudia moments. So Christy shows up at babysitting, I'm gonna say appointments. That's not exactly correct, but these babysitting appointments that Claudia is doing for the Babysitters Club, Christy shows up, and she is part of those. But Dawn's not in this. Stacy and Marianne have their own experiences where they get freaked out. Stacy also watches like what appears to be a horror movie with a child, and I was like, Stacy, you're already both scared. Why are you watching this? Marianne builds booby traps. It's very, very cute, very wholesome. Them just trying to like survive. Now, if you don't remember this, or maybe didn't read the books, or maybe just read like a handful, whatever, anything in there, what you need to know is Marianne's dad is really controlling because he is a widow. And so they're worried that if they talk too much about the Phantom Caller, that Marianne's dad won't let her babysit. Stacy is a transplant from New York City, so she and her family moved to Connecticut, but she had lived in New York City previously, and so she's sort of the like supposed to be tough and like street, like city smart, but she gets really scared. And Christy is the person who starts the Babysitters Club. She's the bossy tomboy, and a lot of what's happening in this winds up boiling down to the fact that there is a Halloween dance coming up, and Stacy is going to have a date. Marianne is not allowed to go and has no desire to go, but also I don't think her dad will let her go. And then Claudia really wants this boy to ask her out. And so a lot of Claudia's chapters are about school. A lot of Claudia's books do involve school and her struggling with school because she is smart, but she just has a really hard time focusing at school. So her stories are often, I wasn't doing well in this class, so I needed extra help, and then her family set up to try and help her do well. This will come up a lot later because we see more of Janine, who is her older sister and who is considered a genius. She's taking college classes, even though I believe she's only in high school. She's 15, but she's taking college classes. In this, all the girls are in 7th grade, and Claudia does point out that she and Stacy are more mature than Christy and Marianne. She says, we're like into fashion and boys, and they're not really, and like we're just like more mature. So we do get like different variations of her thinking like, oh, Christy doesn't really dress like I think we should dress because we're in 7th grade. And she does get mad at Christy a few times because she thinks Christy and her big mouth, this comes up a few times throughout the series, blabbed about this guy she liked, and turned out she didn't. It's this whole like getting insight into how everyone interacts. Now, a lot of what Claudia is talking about is, again, school, this dance, having a crush. We learn about how she really likes art and how she's painting Mimi. And we do get that she and Janine don't have like the best relationship. She loves Mimi, her grandma, and she loves spending time with her. And then we don't really see her parents in this, but her parents are trying to be like supportive and helpful. So she has been getting phantom calls, and then Claudia really steps up in this one. So a lot of the books where that person is the main character, because these are sort of life lesson books in a way, they show Claudia being like, something scary is happening. I know it could be this. I don't know if it's this, but I think I should handle it. So we actually get Claudia calling the police because she thinks the phantom is possibly at the house because they keep getting these weird phone calls while she's babysitting. And we show her being very mature and like handling the situation. And even she gets compliments from her sister Janine, who says she's very brave. And so it's a very sweet book where we see Claudia being boy crazy, being like into clothes, her dynamic with the other babysitters, her dynamic with her family. And then we also get this like, I can be brave and strong and smart, and I can do these things. And that's even with her being like, I hate school, and school is annoying, because I just want to read what I want to read. I don't want to have to figure out like metaphors and adverbs and all this stuff. She wants to read what she likes, and she gets bored at school. And it's a lot because her interests aren't school. Like, she wants to be doing art. She doesn't want to be doing math. She wants to read fiction books and not have to analyze them extensively. So Claudia is the fun, like, artsy babysitter. And so I always really enjoyed her because, like, I was always bad at math at school. Like, I don't know, I'm just not, I was always very bad at it. Anything that involved math, I was bad at. So, like, even when I was little, I didn't really think about that as much, but I do remember, like, thinking that she was very relatable because she just, like, struggles with some things. Now, I don't remember struggling with math when I was, like, really reading these, but I do later in life. So this may be kind of a backwards comparison, but this one was very fun. I really enjoyed it. I loved that it was actually Halloween themed, so my outfit was perfect. And it fits with like the stuff I have to bake tonight. And I'm gonna try and see if Crystal will play this board game because I think it would be fun. I will show you the baking, not the process. I already did that once. I will show you what things look like after they're baked and made, because I probably won't talk to you again until I'm making dinner. So there's that, and then I'll show you if we play the board game or not. But this was very fun, very nice setup for Claudia. They also, so they have Christy say, or I'm gonna hit you in the face, like to a little kid. And I was like, yep, you can tell this was written in the 80s. Because you can't say that now. But yes, it was very fun. I am now going to be on to Claudia and Mean Janine, which is why I mentioned Janine. So I'll be reading that one next. Again, don't know when I'll get to that one officially, but I will fill you in when I get to it. But I'm having a very fun time. And also I will show you my Claudia doll soon because she kind of goes with this cover. So keep an eye out for Claudia, the doll, and more on Claudia in the books. The old pizza skulls. They're mushroom pepperoni. They look basically identical. But I just pulled them out and they're super hot. I also have the... Did I actually call these pizza tombstones? I don't know. I'm tired. These are the pizza tombstones. Just crescent roll and then like pizza filling type stuff in them. And then I gotta show you the pumpkin skulls. I moved those into the living room already. The ones we're keeping / eating tonight. So I'll probably just bring this in there so you can see it. But yes, these are these. And I will show you dessert momentarily. These are the pumpkin chocolate chip skulls. These are the ones where I'm gonna put in a bag and take to Krista's folks' house. But there you go. So you can see them. They look really cool. They're pretty good. It's just like easy make pumpkin bread mix with some dark chocolate chips added. But I'm gonna go eat. I just wanted to show you. And this was the easiest way. Talk to you later.
You can always count on me, and I can count on you. Good times, bad times, in between, my friends will see me through.
Good morning. It is right before work, and I'm doing my best to do like an late 80s, early 90s themed outfit. So I have this slightly oversized sweater on, and then, oh, these are gonna be so hard to see. I don't have a mirror in here. But I'm wearing like a floral and skull print pair of leggings. I'll try and show you the full outfit later, but work is about to start. I just wanted to check in a little bit because I watched some Babysitters Club, the show, the one that I said is on Peacock from the 90s. I watched a little bit of that last night, and I watched a tiny bit this morning before work while I was making coffee. So I've watched one that was super cute that I remembered. That's Claudia in the Secret Passage. That one has Janine in it. I think it might might be the only episode that Janine is in, but I could be wrong. And it's a very sister-centric episode. It was so cute. Also, I think it's Kelly Bishop. Mrs. Gilmore, like the first Mrs. Gilmore, if that makes sense, from the Gilmore Girls, Lorelai's mom. She was in it for a little bit, which was wild. I tried to get a video clip, but she wasn't in full frame very often, just because this is like it's a square, if it makes sense. So the show is formatted for older TVs, so it shows up a little funny on my iPad. But that was cute. Then there was one with the boys sitters. That one I remembered because the boys are actually bad at babysitting, but like in the books, I remember the boys do sometimes help out and babysit, but it's mostly Logan, Marianne's boyfriend. Then this is slightly out of order. I also watched one, there's one where Jesse is babysitting for a child who signs, and then like secrets are being revealed and it turns out he can lip read, which I did remember. I was like, oh, that kid lip reads. That's how everyone knows what's going on. And then, oh, there was one for Dawn that I am not sure I ever watched because was it Dawn? Yeah, it was Dawn. And it was like boy crazy. Oh, no, it's Stacy. Boy crazy. No, I feel like I'm forgetting which one it is. Hold on. It has to be Stacy. Yeah. Hold on. I knew I was gonna forget. No, it's Dawn. It's totally Dawn because Dawn is Marianne's stepsister. So it's boy crazy Dawn. She has a crush on a guy and there's this whole like mix up. I also managed to finish Claudia and the Mean Janine, which I do remember this one. This one you might not think it based on the cover, but Claudia and Janine are kind of fighting off and on, but it's more that they're both dealing with something that's making both of them act a little more stressed out. So there's a fight in this between the two of them because Claudia thinks Janine is saying she's dumb. They play a game and it's a trivia game and she's doing very poorly in it because she just doesn't know like trivia facts and Janine knows a bunch of stuff. And then the core element of this is Mimi, their grandma, winds up having a stroke while they are home with her and their parents aren't home. So the two of them have to work together to get her to the hospital. And then there's like all of this plan making because Mimi has had the stroke and eventually is discharged to go home. But Claudia is like, oh, well, I'll help because she really loves Mimi and she spends a lot of time with Mimi. So she wants to be there to help her recover. But Janine also wants to help. But Janine is someone who has a very hard time expressing herself. So she like she's good at like school stuff. And the issue is that Claudia is bad at school stuff. So the two of them kind of butt heads because Janine speaks very formally. And so sometimes Claudia doesn't know what she's saying. Sometimes she thinks she's talking down to her. And then because this is going on with Mimi, Claudia is like very like, oh my God, this is my fault because I got into that fight with Janine and then I upset Mimi and then she had the stroke. And so this one really does focus on the two of them ultimately, Claudia and Janine, working out the fact that Janine sometimes sticks to herself and the family doesn't really think that she wants to spend time with them, so they don't take into account that she wants to help with Mimi. And then Claudia's like, but if you told us, or like maybe made yourself present during the times that we normally do stuff, like Mimi's home right now and you're up in your room when you should be with Mimi. So it's a lot of that. So it's like the two of them working together to figure out like a plan and like really getting closer and figuring out a way for Janine to kind of express herself more. It was very sweet. It was a cute sister moment. I'm the older sister. But maybe that's why I was like Claudia, because she had an older sister and it was like them working through things. But yes, it was a very sweet book. I do know that coming up is a very sad book, because Claudia and the Sad Goodbye, I believe, is Mimi's death. And I do remember that book because I remember being very upset about it because it's her grandma. But that's not the next book. They're behind me, so I haven't grabbed them. But in more happy, positive news, I wanted to show you this cover. So these are the original covers and I love them so much. But you see the sweater? It's like very, very like 80s. So I have for you a Claudia doll. Now yes, Scholastic did make Babysitter's Club dolls. They made a set of them. It was only the core dolls, I think. Though maybe they did Mallory and Jessie. I don't remember seeing them. I remember seeing Claudia because I was super excited because they had Claudia at Half Price Books. This is not my original Claudia. My original Claudia was from Half Price Books and they have the same overalls on and the same boots. I don't know what happened to my original one. I mentioned this in another clip, but Krista tracked this Claudia doll down on the internet a few years ago, and she's been in my office. She squeaks a little because she's made of plastic. Their bodies are entirely plastic, The original Claudia's had earrings, like little silver hoops. I might try and see if I can find some like doll earrings because I know they sell them. And I think the holes are typically kind of universal. So I'm going to see if I can find something. And then she came with her original overalls and her shoes. Now, the original Claudia, besides having earrings, mine always had her hair up. I don't remember if the Claudia dolls actually had their hair up, but mine was always in a ponytail. They had the overalls. And then the original one has a white ruffled shirt and bright pink tights. So this is a resale doll. I did not expect her to come with her clothes. Thankfully she came with the overalls and the boots. This outfit is actually I think it's Courtney. At the time she was the newest new American Girl doll. It's like a 1980s themed doll. So I got her cardigan and her shirt. They are a little big. Oh, and these like lacy tights, which apparently I have more of them in a cabinet because it was like a 3-pack that came with this. They're a little big. These dolls are smaller than American Girl dolls, but I thought it fit the very like 80s oversized vibes for her. So she is as done up as she could be. I got like she's so dusty, a scrunchie set at Target for kids, and it worked on her hair. So I thought she went with this cover, so I thought I would show her now. I'll probably pull her out a few more times. I played with my Claudia doll all the time. Like, I was obsessed with her. I took her everywhere. I also gave my Claudia this like parrot brooch that was like not my mom's style at all. I really don't know how she had it, but it was like this Technicolor parrot, and I pinned it to my Claudia's overalls because I was like, Claudia would totally wear this. But I had that doll for forever. I just don't know what happened to her because at a certain point I know I put her in like a storage bin because I wasn't actively playing with her, but I don't know what happened to her. But yes, so I thought I would show the Claudia doll, and at some point I'll try and figure out, I might see if I can like swing by Target because they have like these dolls that are closer in size to Claudia than American Girl, I think, and they have earrings. So I might see if maybe we can like swing by a Target at some point and I can see if I can find doll earrings. I don't know. But yes, so I finished Me and Janine, showed off Claudia, talked to you about the show. I have 3 episodes left of the show, which I'm probably going to try and just keep on for the rest of the day because it only has 2 more days left on Peacock and I would like to finish it before they pull it. So I'll probably have that on while I'm working. And then tonight, I have plenty of time to read because I'm going with Krista to a night court thing. I just read while she's at court, and I need to go with her because we have to run by her parents' house. So, oh, and I'm supposed to check out these like candles. It's a whole thing. But I will show you the next ones when I grab them before I leave. And yeah, so that'll probably be the only check-in. Actually, I'll probably check in at lunch, the end of my lunch break. So I will talk to you then. And I'll probably just fill you in on the rest of the show because I'll finish it by then. Yeah, I think that's everything. But I gotta go because work's about to start. So I will talk to you later about more Claudia and Babysitters Club things. Hello, it is the end of my lunch break. So I'm just gonna fill you in on the fact that I finished Claudia and the Bad Joke. So this one is mildly horrifying. Like, as a kid reading this would be just so frightening. So Claudia winds up babysitting for this girl named Betsy, and Betsy is a practical joker. And normally the practical jokes are embarrassing, annoying, but not anything bad. The issue is that Betsy has Claudia get on this swing that apparently the chain is broken, and Betsy knows that, but thinks that Claudia will just fall out of it. The issue is the brake holds for long enough that Claudia winds up getting pretty high in a swing before it snaps, and then she falls in her driveway and her leg bends a very, very creepy way. So Claudia's in the hospital for part of this, and it's actually stressing her out because she's thinking about Mimi in the hospital. And this oddly all kind of works together because the next book is the very sad goodbye. It's Claudia and the Sad Goodbye, which is about the death of Mimi. So weirdly enough, I managed to have 3 Claudia books that do like a Mimi arc kind of, which is going to be sad. That book's probably going to make me cry. Yes, I understand it's a children's book. It's still probably going to make me cry. But in this one, going back to this, Claudia thinks maybe she should quit babysitting because she got injured, and what if she'd injured her arm or her hand and she couldn't do art anymore? So this one is a lot of her being bored and then like also not sure if she wants to continue being a babysitter, but she doesn't want to leave the club. And then there's so many cute scenes with her and Mimi because Mimi is kind of taking care of her during the day while everyone's at work because she can't go to school, because she can't walk. She's not allowed to put any weight on the leg. And then while all that's going on, the babysitters don't want to get revenge per se, but they want to teach Betsy a lesson. So they want to out prank her. And so there's like numerous sitters watching her at various times, and they all try to prank her in different ways. And we wind up having Christy be the ultimate pranker. I won't get into how, but we learn a lot of things about Betsy and what Betsy is doing. But it is ultimately, again, because these normally have very positive morals, positive life lessons, the ending of the book is very sweet. This one also introduces the fact that Stacy has moved to New York. I forget why, but it says her parents. So I think her parents might actually have gotten back together. At a certain point, Stacy rejoins the Babysitters Club, because on the back, you'll see here, she's not listed at all, but on the next one, she's not on the next one. In another one that I have, Stacy is listed as an alternate officer. So I think she's coming to Stony Brook periodically at a certain point, or maybe she moves back. I don't really remember. Again, Claudia was my favorite character. I know things about Claudia. I don't remember things about the other characters really, except Christy, because I also read the Karen book. So like I remember like the wedding and some other things that happened, because it was reiterated between the little sister books and the primary series. So in this one, we have all of that. We do have Stacy calling a lot. Ooh, I'm gonna have to go. I need to see what the dogs are barking at. But Stacy does call a lot, so Stacy is still in this one. It's very fun. This one I know is gonna be really sad. It is set after she dies, so I think we just like pick up at the point that Mimi has died. Though if I remember, that book has a funeral in it that I kind of clearly remember, I think. I know they covered it in the Netflix series. They also discuss it in the 1990 series, and we see Mimi one time in the final episode, which I'll get into that later, just because the dogs are barking. I have to see what's going on. But in the series, I did finish it. I did finish the 1990 series earlier today, but I'll talk about that later when the dogs are calmed down. So I gotta go see what's going on. I will talk to you about the series later. I have to go. And then we're heading out after work. So I don't know when I'll talk to you. Maybe the car? I don't know. I have no idea yet. But I'll talk to you about the TV series when I get a chance. But I gotta go for now. But I'll fill you in on the last little bit of the TV series. And possibly I'll have updates for you on the very sad book that's gonna make me cry. Oh boy. Alright, I will talk to you in a little bit. Hello, for me and Claudia on the floor. I have like 2 seconds. I moved her because I was about to sit on her on accident. This is super quick, but I wanted to finish telling you about the show, and I have a surprise to me to tell you about. So one, the show, the last 3 episodes were the last 2 kind of set each other up. So I'm gonna cough, sorry, 1 sec. So one was about Dawn saving the trees, which is totally fine, but it was weird because it had the guy from Scrubs in it. Is it Zach Braff? The like lead guy in Scrubs. He was in it, and he was the love interest kind of, and I was like, what? So that was weird. Oh, Claudia, you and your creaky joints. We're gonna put you right here for a sec. There we go. There you are. But I watched that episode, was fine. Admittedly, this is gonna sound so mean, but I remember not really liking Dawn's episodes because Dawn's are always boy-centric, and like they just are. Like they always give her like a boy romance plot, and I did not care for that ever as a kid. So that was fine. Like I was just kind of like, oh, okay. But the one after that is Stacy goes to visit her dad and basically decides she's gonna move to New York is really what they're setting up. So like it's her in New York, and like the babysitters all go to visit her, but I do like her dad comes to visit her in Stony Brook, but I think the idea is it's a setup for her to leave, because then they're doing this like big sleepover reminiscing final episode, and it's because she's leaving and they're like preparing for this new chapter of the Babysitters Club. The 13th episode is the final one, but it's a really fun time because it's a faux clips episode. So I normally am not a huge fan of clips episodes, but this one, they're remembering things that happened, but it's stuff we have never seen. So we like see the day Christy came up with the Babysitters Club. We see a tea ceremony that Mimi did with all the babysitters. We see different babysitting gigs and like different random things that happened, but it's nothing that's been in an episode before. So it's not really a clips episode. Like it's a reminiscing episode where like all the clips are new. So it was a very sweet episode. You get to see a lot of cute things that weren't in the actual series. And so that one that's like one of my favorites. All the Claudia ones are my favorites, and then that one. But yes, so that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed getting to rewatch that. But I just wanted to tell you about it really quick while I had the time, because like the last little bit of it is so good. I don't know where it's going to be after it leaves Peacock, and it'll be off Peacock by the time I post this. So I would say just Google it and see where it says, because I don't know. Like it's Scholastic. Like it's not a production company. I think it's Film Rise. So like, I have no clue where that would go. I mean, Amazon is probably a good bet because you can normally like just buy a show to watch. But yes, so it was very cute to rewatch it. It had been so long. I did remember some of them. I remembered the like secret passage one with the letter and the ring pretty well. And the missing earring one. Did I talk to you about that one? There's one where earrings go missing and Karen did it, but it was like a whole thing. And that was also a Claudia specific episode. So yes, all the Claudia ones are incredible, and so is the last one, is what I'm telling you. I'm not biased at all. Totally not biased. But yes, that was my quick update. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to go see what they're yelling at, because they're yelling really loud again. Oh my goodness, every time I want to do an update today, they're barking. My neighbor's doing work around his house, and so his dog is out, and that's not helping. But I'm gonna go. So yes, look out for an update on the very sad one very soon, but I gotta go. Good morning. I am making coffee. I just did dishes. I was watching Kayla's 10 Years of Books and La La video. I am not done with it. I probably would be if YouTube hadn't decided to install an update on my iPad. It was really annoying. But it's really just my iPad just being weird. It's cool. But I'm gonna finish watching that after I do this update. So last night I did go to court with Krista, so she had night court, and I went along because I already told you we were going to her folks. We did that. We stayed for about a half hour because her mom was at work. And then we were also staying a little bit late at court because there's someone there who makes candles, and she told Krista, and she brought candles for us to smell and see if we wanted to buy any. And we did actually buy some. I'll show them to you because I have 2 in my office and they smell so good, and you can't smell them, but they're very cute. The other thing was that I did read all of Claudia and the Sad Goodbye, which did make me tear up consistently in the back of a courthouse. This one is just very sad. So the story starts off and Mimi is doing pretty well. She is still living at home, and then the issue is that they're noticing Mimi getting upset or confused about kind of random things. Like she'll think someone is someone else and she'll yell at them, which she has never done. She like never raised her voice. She'll yell, she'll get frustrated, she'll say she's gonna do something and then forget. And then she collapses. So she collapses, they take her to the hospital. She's in the hospital for a little while. They're trying to figure out what's wrong. They can't, and they send her home. She seems to be doing okay again, though still struggling a little with like forgetfulness, just general like acting a little off. She winds up back in the hospital. And while all of this is going on, Claudia is running an art club with Marianne. So they're doing like a once a week art day because there's this mom who called in and said that she really needs like a sitter or someone to do something with Corey, her daughter. I think it's Corey. And it's because these like parents don't really spend time with their kids. They put them in like a lot of activities and they like run a lot of errands and they're not really around. And it seems like the mom does not have a job. She is technically a stay-at-home mom, but it seems like she's consistently running errands. She never brings the kids with her. And Corey, the girl, is becoming very attached to Claudia. It turns out that she also likes Nancy Drew. She's really loving art. She loves it more than the other stuff her mom has signed her up for. And we're seeing Corey connect with Claudia, while Claudia is also going through this like very tumultuous period where they're not really sure what's going on with Mimi, what they can do. And then Mimi does ultimately die, which is very sad, but her parents do the very like, well, Mimi was very old, and try to like explain it to Claudia, because what's exceptionally sad to Claudia and what makes her upset and even angry is that they actually tell her Mimi is coming home from the hospital, and the night they tell her she's coming home and Claudia talks to her on the phone, Mimi actually dies in the hospital. So it's very, very sad. So yeah, this one was just sad. There's a funeral, there's people trying to deal with stuff, there's Claudia trying to deal with stuff. It's a really sad book. It's very well done. It does discuss topics of grief. It shows her parents trying to help her, Janine trying to help her friends trying to help her like navigate these feelings and how she's feeling towards Mimi, about Mimi. And then we're also seeing a child that Claudia is growing close to, and her standing up for this child whose parents seem to not really spend time with her, while that child desperately wants her parents to actually pay attention to her. So it was very good, just very emotional. I'm even tearing up now because this one's just really emotional. The plan for today is, fingers crossed, I will be able to read Claudia and the Great Search, where Claudia thinks she's adopted, and Claudia and the Middle School Mystery. So these two, I'm not gonna read you I guess I could read you the synopsis. So for this one, since I'm gonna be reading this one first, it's rainy, I have some time before work, so I am gonna read and drink coffee. So this one is, it's no secret that Claudia and her sister are different. For one, they don't look alike at all. Claudia loves her wild clothes and funky jewelry, and Janine dresses, well, kind of nerdy. Janine is a genius, and Claudia brings home C's when she's lucky. Claudia opens the family photo album to see what she and her sister looked like when they were little. There are hardly any baby pictures of Claudia. And when she goes searching for her birth certificate and birth announcement in the newspaper, Claudia can't find them. Is Claudia Kishi who she thinks she is, or has she been adopted? And then I'll read you the description of the other one if I get to it. The goal is to get to it during lunch, and I'm hoping I can read this one before work. So that's the goal on this rainy day. I'm gonna finish making coffee, I'm gonna finish watching Kayla's video, but I'm gonna buckle down and attempt to read all of Claudia and the Great Search so that I can read the Middle School Mystery during my lunch break, because then I'll only have 2 books left, because I really want to get this video up on Monday, because Monday the 25th is my birthday. I thought that would be fun just to post on my birthday, just for the sake of posting on my birthday, I guess. But I need to do that. So like, I have 4 books left. One is a super special, and I may bump the super special to just next week if I don't get to it, just because it's not Claudia specific and it's a lot bigger than the rest of them. So we'll see. If that one gets bumped, I will let you know, which it is possible it will. Like, I think I'm gonna executive decision no super special. So I'm not gonna read the super special in this one. Don't worry, I will read it next week. I'll just read it before Hellathon starts as a sort of like build up to the holiday Hellathon hosted by Slam and Slashers. I'm very excited for it, like really excited. I have a kind of TBR bill and a WBR? Would that be no. To be watched? TBW? TBW. My brain was like, what? So yeah, so I have movies picked out for that. I have some shows picked out for that. I have books. But yeah, so I'm gonna bump the super special. It will get read in the next vlog, which will just be like a fun, whatever I decide to read, little vlog, because it'll be my birthday and Thanksgiving, and it's a busy week. And it's also a work week. Like, I have work. So, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Super special, not in this video. Will be in the next video. So yeah, so now I just have to focus on finishing 3 books so I can get this posted on Monday. So yeah, I will talk to you, actually, I will read with you for a little bit because I have the time. So yeah, enjoy a little reading moment, and then I'll update you when I can on Claudia and the Great Search. I almost remembered the title. I haven't had coffee yet. Hello, it is the end of my lunch break, and I've only succeeded in reading Claudia and the Great Search. So in this one, I already read you the description. What happens is Claudia really just like feels very different from her family, and with Mimi gone, because this is set after the sad goodbye, she's just having a really hard time like relating to her family and feeling connected is a lot of what it is. She feels really different. Janine wins this award, and it's for like being really good in a college class, even though Janine is still in high school. So Claudia is just like, I feel so different, I feel so different. And while this is going on, Christy's adopted baby sister, Emily Michelle, is struggling with communication and some skills. And so she's been meeting with like doctors, and they attempted to start her in preschool, and that didn't turn out. So Claudia winds up spending more time with Emily Michelle. And then because of that, she gets it into her head that she's so different from her family because she's adopted, like Emily, which I feel like this is like a common thought in like children's books or young adult books even, where the idea is you feel different from your family and then, oh, maybe I'm adopted, or I am adopted. I'm like a royal princess or something along those lines. You know what I mean? And so in this, she's like really trying to prove that she's adopted. She can't find her birth certificate. She can't find any baby photos of her. There are some, but she feels like there's not as many as Janine. She can't find her birth announcement. There's so many things Claudia can't find that she thinks are proof that she's adopted. She even tracks down the names of babies born in Stony Brook on the same day as her, who weren't from Stony Brook or like were in Stony Brook but may have moved. And she's like trying to figure out, like, am I their kid? And because she thinks that it makes the most sense that she was born in Stony Brook and then her parents adopted her. She doesn't think her parents would have adopted a baby from somewhere else. She doesn't think she was like from somewhere else. And that's mostly because she can't research anything outside of her being born in Stony Brook. If she could figure out if a baby was born in Stony Brook and given to her parents, she feels like that would make sense. So she's like doing a ton of research and phone calls and all of this stuff. It's a lot of work that she's putting into this. And I think it's also because Claudia loves Nancy Drew. So she loves a mystery. She loves trying to figure something out. And she's really just like fixated on figuring out if she's adopted, which, as is in some books often the case, she isn't. She is her parents' biological daughter, and the issue is that she's baby number 2. And so her mom even goes into this, that sometimes when parents have a second child or a third or a fourth, the photos dwindle because they just took so many photos of the first baby because it was the first and they were so excited, and they just like took a lot of photos because they never had a child before. And then when you get to the second one, you're also busier. You have another child to take care of. So it's harder to take photos. Even if the family does come to visit, they're also still spending time probably with their own children, or it's just a different environment. Now, I was the oldest, and I do know there are a number of photos of me, but we have a lot of photos of my brother and sister because they were twins, and my mom was in like a lot of groups where people like wanted to throw parties and like take us to things. So there are a lot of photos of all 3 of us. And I don't know. I have not counted, but I feel like it's probably close to an equal amount of photos. I don't know. But she is like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then her parents are like, you couldn't find your birth certificate because that's not where it is. And then the birth announcement is in a different paper because that paper was like the big deal when you were born and it doesn't exist now. And it was a very logical explanation to Claudia, and it was very cute. Though we are seeing a plot that I'm sure comes up in another book. But Stacy has moved back to Stony Brook. This is the point where her parents are actually divorced. So that was the thing I was confused about. And while this is a Claudia vlog, I will point out that I was wrong. Stacy's parents were together and living in Stony Brook, and they were together when they moved back to New York, and then they get divorced while in New York. And then her mom moves back to Stony Brook with Stacy. Now, the thing that keeps coming up in this book is that Stacy seems thin. Stacy seems sick. Stacy has been in bed a lot. Stacy keeps mentioning she's tired. So I am assuming there's a book pretty close to this one that is about Stacy and perhaps her diabetes taking a turn, or some issue that is compounding with her diabetes, because that is a core part of that character is that she has diabetes, and her plots don't revolve around it, but it is brought up consistently and mentioned frequently in that it ties into things. There's a specific Christmas episode of the TV show, and she winds up in the hospital because she's been eating too many sweets, and she causes her blood sugar to consistently spike, and it stays too high, and then it makes her sick. I believe that's what it is. Her blood sugar just keeps fluctuating because she's not monitoring what she's eating. So this one really, again, is about Claudia, but it does feel like there's this like teaser, like a Stacy thing is coming up. Actually, I should see. There's a list of books in the back. So let's see. This is 33. Let's see. 33, Marianne. Stacy and the Mystery of Stony Brook. That's the next one. It's 2 away. Oh, there we go. Book 43, Stacy's Emergency. And I bet you that really gets into this. I actually feel like I've done pretty well. I may have actually grabbed most of the Claudia books that exist in the correct order. I'm like going through this list now. I didn't have this before. I have the middle school mystery. Oh, okay. So I didn't get Claudia and the Genius of Elm Street, but that would have been after the middle school mystery. So I'm actually doing pretty well. I think I actually did get most of the Claudia books. I don't have that one. And that's really it. That's the only one I'm missing. And then they have all the super specials listed, which I kind of want to read more of the super specials. Oh my gosh, I did not know this. There's a Logan book. That's adorable. It says Logan Story, Special Edition, Reader's Request. The books were $3.25, in case you were curious. This is the little slip, and you can order them. You have to send the book, and you enclose the money plus $2 for shipping and handling. And then you can also join the fan club. Look at that. I'm actually pretty proud of myself for tracking most of these down. I wish I had found Genius on Elm Street, but that's okay. But yes, this one was very good. Claudia is doing so much in this, and she's very good with Emily, which is very, very sweet. She teaches her some colors and some shapes, and she actually might want to be a teacher based on how that is set up, because she's like, oh, I'm like really good at this. Like, I'm a good teacher, even though I'm not very good, in her opinion, at school. So the next one I'll be reading is, ooh, I must have just missed it then. Sorry, because I have 56. Keep Out, Claudia. And now I'm gonna be like, yeah, okay. So I've inadvertently skipped Claudia and the Genius of Elm Street and gone on to book 56, which at the time this was published wasn't released. And that's Keep Out, Claudia, which would have been after Jesse's gold medal. So I missed a book. I did skip a book, but I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm sure there are things I missed, but it's okay. Maybe I'll track it down later. But the next book will be Claudia and the Middle School Mystery, which is, for once, Claudia studied really, really hard for her math test, and when Claudia gets her paper back, it has an A on it. All right! But then Claudia's math teacher calls her to his desk and accuses her of copying off Shauna Riverson's test. That's her name, yeah. Claudia can't believe it. Neither can the babysitters. Claudia would never cheat, and they're not going to rest until they clear Claudia's name. Oh, this is adorable. This is going to be very cute. Also, I love that they've apparently covered this girl's face who has accused Claudia of cheating. Just can't even see her. You can only see Claudia. So yeah, I'll be reading that one probably tonight. There is a Steelers game on tonight, and we actually get it. So Krista really wants to watch it, which is totally fine. But I will probably try and breeze through this during the game. I may even start Keep Out, Claudia. Just because they're pretty short. And I've already told you, we are reading the super special next week. Sorry it's not in this one. I apologize. It's just not happening. So I will get to it next week though. I don't know what I'm reading next week besides that book. We'll see. It's a busy week. I'll probably read more than one book though. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, I am gonna go. I will talk to you when I have updates on things. I never actually told you what the surprise was. I feel like I should wait. I'm going to tell you the surprise was to me. And the surprise is related to a previous video, and that's all I'm going to say, because fingers crossed, said surprise arrives next week, and I'll have it in that video, so I will not show you until I do that video. But that's not meant as like a teaser. It's just like, I want to have it to show you, because I feel like just telling you won't really hit the same, if that makes sense. So just know it is related to a video. Krista, my wife, is exceptionally sweet and so kind, and just like wanted to do something for me, and it was very, very nice, and it's happening, and you'll see it in a later video, I swear. But I have to go. Lunch break is totally ending, so I definitely need to go. But I will talk to you later about at least Claudia and the Middle School Mystery, because this girl accusing her of cheating, I already don't like. All right, talk to you later. Hello, it is the end of the workday, but before I start cooking dinner, because I think I'm gonna change because I don't want to get stuff on this, I forgot to show you my outfit, which was supposed to be Claudia inspired. It's just like chunky cable knit thing. Feels very like classy Claudia. And then I added these very floral leggings. So I just wanted to show you. I have not worn earrings for any of this, and I was planning to. I'm gonna try and take a photo for the thumbnail and stuff with, oh, the lighting got really weird, with earrings on and stuff, but I don't know when I'm gonna do that. Actually, I should probably do that tomorrow morning. But yeah, so I'm gonna try and fish out some of my fun earrings and do like a cute outfit with my Claudia doll, so I can have that for the thumbnail. But I'm gonna go cook dinner, and I think put on a sweatshirt because parts of me are cold, because I ran outside real quick, and so I'm just a little cold. So yeah, I'm gonna go make dinner. I will fill you in if I read more of the Middle School Mystery. That's what it's called. But I'm gonna get on a sweatshirt that is comfy and get cozy so I can make, I think we're having pasta. I think that was the plan. So I'm gonna go make pasta. Maybe drink a little wine. Feels like a drink a little wine kind of night. So yeah, I will talk to you later, my friends. Hello, I'm in a vaguely Claudia outfit today. So I'm just wearing a black shirt, but this is it's a Doctor Who sweater. So it's supposed to look like the Fourth Doctor's scarf, but the like colors seemed like maybe like fall Claudia or like slightly older Claudia. I don't know. And I'm wearing burgundy leggings. So sort of an outfit. I need to add cute earrings so I can take a photo with my Claudia doll for the thumbnail. Still need to do that. But I'm here because I finished Claudia and the Middle School Mystery this morning. So I read a little bit during the game, but we didn't wind up watching the entire football game because the Steelers were playing really badly. And Krista was like, I don't want to watch anymore. So we wound up watching True Blood. We're in the final season of that. We've just been watching it randomly, and it's so weird to me because I read the Suki Stackhouse books. I did not finish them. I was really close. I think I had like 1 or 2 left and I would have read the whole series. I read those a long time ago too, like in middle school, high school. But we're watching the show and I've just been like, this is so weird in comparison to the books. Like the show is just getting progressively weirder to me and I'm like, I don't understand at all. So yeah, so we're watching it, we're gonna finish it, but I'm just kind of like, this is so different than the books. This is an aside. We're also watching the second season of Interview with the Vampire, and that has also been like not completely different than the first season, but we're doing a lot of like re-examinations of things that Louis is saying, and Louis was obviously having some issues during the time they're discussing in the interviews, and then also while they're doing the interviews. Something's going on with him. So yeah, so Krista has been like, this is not the same as season 1. She liked season 1, but like this season, so many odd things are happening, and I'm just like, we want to finish the season. We're also getting like a free trial of AMC Plus so we can watch it. But I was like, I don't quite understand. Like, I know the next season after this is the like Queen of the Damned season. So I'm just like, I don't know what they're doing. Anyway, this is all a random aside about things we're watching. Back to Claudia and the Middle School Mystery, which is completely different than the vampire things I was talking about. So in this one, Claudia is accused of cheating, which is the primary story here. So she studied super hard for this math test with Janine, and she like really knows everything, and she takes the test and she gets an A-. But this girl in her class, Shauna, gets the exact same grade, and they have the exact same work on one of their problems. At least and the problem is wrong. That's the thing that really gets the teacher. So the teacher who is covering this class is like a long-term sub because their normal teacher is out. And he believes Shauna when Shauna's like, I would never cheat, blah, 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 blah. So Claudia's like, but I didn't cheat. And she's like so upset because she can't prove she didn't cheat. And her teacher just like takes Shauna aside immediately because Shauna's like, I didn't cheat. And so Claudia's like freaking out because if she gets an F on this test, then she'll basically fail math. Like, she's like, there's no way I could get an A on everything else and then like get a C at the end of the year. So she's really worried. The babysitters try and like catch Shauna. And the annoying part is they keep finding out that Shauna did cheat. Like, Shauna's in the bathroom with her friends and is like, yeah, I totally cheated off Claudia Kishi because like, who cares what she gets? Like, she doesn't care about grades, blah, blah, blah. And then they find like a note in her locker that says she cheated off Claudia, but they can't use any of that to prove, sorry, I'm gonna cough a little, that she cheated off Claudia. Like, they can't, none of it is useful. So she eventually tells Janine, and Janine saves the day, which is so sweet. And it was just like a very sweet sister moment, and they even talk about it, like she calls her the best sister in the universe. It was so adorable. The plot overall works out for Claudia and she gets to keep her A-, and it was a very fun book because it starts with Janine getting this like award, right? This is the one where no, that's the babysitting one. But what's funny is there's a cake in that one, and then there's a cake in this one at the end to celebrate Claudia, which is very cute. There's also a plot line with the Pikes, so that's Mallory's siblings, and she has triplet brothers, and they're always getting into trouble, and there's like a mystery, quote unquote, going on. They broke a window, and they won't say who broke the window, and it's driving Mallory up a wall because they get grounded and they're not allowed to leave the house. And so eventually she's like, they're so annoying, like I have to figure out what happened. So Mallory is the one who like saves the day there. So it's a very like sibling focused story where like Mallory winds up helping the triplets and Janine winds up helping Claudia. So this was a very cute read. We also got a Miss Frizzle moment where Claudia made an outfit where she would look like Miss Frizzle, and I was like, that's adorable. The final book for this vlog, because again, super special, will be next week. Also, I think I'm gonna track down the Babysitters Club movie that I had mentioned I don't like as much as the series, which is probably an unpopular opinion, the 1990 series. Maybe next week. I'm gonna see if I can even find it on anything, just because I remember watching the movie, but again, I didn't like the movie as much as the series, and I even liked the Netflix show more than the movie, but I feel like the casting in the movie was good when I was a kid. Like, it was a lot of popular young actors at the time. But final book, Keep Out Claudia. So this is, the babysitters love getting new clients, so when the Lols contact the club, everyone is thrilled. For Marianne, sitting the Lols turns out to be a snap. The kids are adorable and obedient, but when Claudia meets the family, Mrs. Lowell will barely look her in the eye, and the kids are downright rude. The next time Mrs. Lowell calls the BSC, she requests another sitter, anyone but Claudia. Claudia has no idea what she did wrong, but the BSC won't rest until they find out. Oh, I feel like this is gonna be, like, the kids are gonna be annoying, and it's just gonna be a weird one for Claudia. But yeah, I'm gonna read that and then I'll check in with you. I need to charge my camera battery, so this is the end of this clip. I will talk to you when I have finished. Keep Out Claudia. Hello, this is going to be super fast. There is a dog barking. It's one of our dogs, but I wanted to show the earrings I did for my like Claudia Kishi earring vibe thumbnail photo. I'm gonna use a couple, but I wanted to use these. I think these are my mom's, and I asked for them at some point, but I need to take them off because I really just like put them on to get the photo, and I need to switch earrings because during lunch we have to run out and about, and I might put a hat on. It's windy, and while these are cute, I don't need them on me for the rest of the day. So I just want to show you before I take them off. I feel like they go with a very Claudia outfitness, but I need to go. Just super quick, wanted to show them to you before I take them out of my ears. So yes, also I have a number of piercings, if you didn't know. I also have a rook on this ear, sometimes you can't see it. Anyway, I gotta go. Talk to you later. All right, it is the end of the workday, and I have officially finished Keep Out Claudia. So this book is really a discussion of racisms, people's perception of others. So what we read on here is that this person requests that Claudia no longer babysit her children, who are right here. What it turns out is going on is that they initially have Marianne. Marianne says everything's great, it's totally fine. And then they have Claudia sit because she's available. And they're like really weird with Claudia, like rude, don't listen to her, like screaming, yelling, like the kids act so strange. And then the next time that Mrs. Lowell calls in, she actually requests that she not have Claudia and asks to have someone else. So Jessie is available. Now Jessie, if you don't know, so this is interesting, and I can actually tell when there's like a shift in language. So this book came out initially in 1992, and in this one, in previous books, Jessie is referred to as Black, which is totally fine. In this book, she is referred to as African American, which does show a language shift, and I don't know how they would describe her in later books. I'm honestly not sure, but in this one, she is specifically called African American. That's how they identify her, as opposed to in previous books. And when she shows up, Mrs. Lowell won't even let her in the door, which is a huge red flag. Like, maybe she didn't like that Claudia took her kids out of the house, so they're like starting this neighborhood band for all the kids. So all of these kids are like coming together and they want to play music, and they're playing music from musicals. So initially they're playing stuff from Annie, and Claudia's like, oh, do you want to go? They're all meeting, let's go. So she thinks maybe it's because she took Mrs. Lowell's children to this big meetup, and maybe she doesn't approve of going, like letting her kids go to different places, but she just didn't want to say that. So Claudia thinks maybe that's it, but they think it's really strange that she won't even let Jessie in. And Jessie's like, well, she said she didn't need a sitter, maybe it was a mistake. But it does come to light that something is up with Mrs. Lowell, and her children have picked up on some of her ideas. For example, Mallory has a large family, and when that's said to the Lowell children, they're like, oh, they must be Catholic, which is a common stereotype. A few other things are mentioned, like Marianne tells them she has a stepsister, and then the next time Mrs. Lowell calls after all of this, she asks for the blonde, blue-eyed babysitter, and everyone's like, what? It's just very weird, very strange. And they are getting this idea that Mrs. Lowell has some views that are not good. They basically don't want to sit for her anymore, and they can't really tell her why, but they're like, I don't think she's going to call again because we've told her those people are not available, and they were not. And then Christy did go babysit at a certain point to like get the lay of the land, figure out what was going on, and she also starts picking up on it. She's like, the kids have said some stuff. It sounded like they actually said the reason that their mom didn't let Jessie in is because she was African American, and it's a lot of that. And so the story really does focus on trying not to force your views on others, but also sort of like trying to ensure that children don't maintain those same prejudices that their parents have. And it is a very complicated topic for the book. They do get into that off and on as they can. They are all between the ages of 11 and 13, so it's not like they're having these giant like conversations, but they do wind up with the band having the kids perform some songs from Fiddler on the Roof. The kids choose to because Fiddler on the Roof has apparently been touring and was in the area. So when Mrs. Lowell finds out that is what's happening, she's like, no, my children cannot be here, and she does not let them perform with the band. But you learn that the kids actually showed up for the performance and are like watching secretly. And so maybe the idea is maybe there's hope for the children in that they won't keep all of their parents' prejudices, or that maybe they're trying to learn and understand on their own. So the story does ultimately have sort of a positive like learning element to it, but it is a lot of Claudia experiencing for the first time some sort of prejudice against her. She never actually experienced it in Sunnydale. We're not reading Buffy, good lord, in Stony Brook, but Jessie had. So Jessie was like, yeah, stuff like this has happened. I did, like, it's horrible. Like, I just, like, it happens. But yeah, so that is the final book that I'll be reading in this vlog. I am curious to read more of Claudia's books because this is probably around the number that I would have stopped reading them because more were being released, but I couldn't buy them used at that point, and I just wasn't keeping up on Babysitter's Club anymore. So I'm sure there are so many more books. I even looked up some online, and I was like, oh, like that would be really fun to read. So at a certain point, I may request more Claudia books, or I may do like a Babysitter's Mysteries, because I loved the mystery ones, and do like a vlog of just the mystery ones. I may do vlogs for the other characters. I haven't decided. If you have a suggestion, or you have a character, or any sort of Babysitter's Club thing you want me to cover as a vlog, I'm totally up for it. I just picked Claudia first because she's my favorite, so I'm up for reading anyone else's stuff. Also, the mystery ones are really fun, so if you are into that, Catherine sometime next year reads a bunch of Babysitter's Club mystery books, let me know, because I would definitely love to do that, and I may do that even if no one suggests it or is okay with it. I may just do it anyway. But this is fun. I do want to show you, and I'm going to cover it because this little girl like wrote her name in it. So this was obviously donated to the library I got it from, but there's all this stuff in here. Like, you can order books in the back that aren't Babysitter's Club, but are by Apple paperbacks. There's like lists of books you can buy back here too. What else? Oh, you can buy the 1993 Babysitter's Club catalog. There is a student planner and date book you can buy, and I am covering the bottom of this page because it appears that Sarah from Liverpool, New York bought this book at Kmart, and she really wanted to try and win the locket charm bracelet and possibly the cassette player, the portable and carry cassette. That seems like the same thing, but I feel like I am... Oh, portable would be like, I'm guessing the kind with headphones, and then they just can't call it a Walkman, and then carry would be like holding. But she had like filled out this whole sheet with all of her answers. Who's her favorite, did she say? Oh, she did all the trivia. Well, that's very cute. She did a really good job. She got like everybody on here. She even got a one about like someone burning easily at the beach, someone helping build a volcano. Oh, that's really cute. So she filled that out, but I won't show any of her info. You can also buy more Babysitter's Club books in the back. There's a whole list of the super specials, the mysteries, everything that's out, and then the teaser of the next book. So these have been really fun and very, very nostalgic. I loved reading these, and it was just like really fun to read them again because it's been so long. But this was fun. I definitely do want to read more because it's been a while, but yeah, that's the end of the vlog. I'm gonna go change because I'm a little cold. It's a cute sweater, but it's not a warm sweater. And yeah, and I guess I'm just gonna chill for the rest of the night. I just thought I would finish this up, try and get this up on my birthday. fingers crossed that this went up on Monday the 25th, which is my birthday. So yeah, that's gonna be all from me and Miss Claudia Kishi over here. We, at least I, will see you in another video. Bye!